Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. This should be a pretty fast and fun episode. I've got the parts here in front of me to build a couple of BMWs, specifically the E36. The models were designed by the builder Fukusaku, who has put together a ton of different models. You might recognize that name if you've seen some of our videos in the past. You're seeing them flash by the screen there. All said and done, he's actually made 5 different color variations of the M3. And I've got 2 different ones. I'm building the red one and the magenta one mixed together here. And that should be a nice bit of extra color in the studio just because there's so many gray spaceships. As per usual, the instructions can be found at our web store, BrickVault.toys. And I think I should be able to get away with building this in front of my editing setup just because there's not that many parts. I did a bad thing, guys, and didn't really organize my pieces all too much this time around, but so far it has not gotten in the way. Remember, with each purchase comes the PDF step-by-step building guide, which I am currently testing right now. You also get a parts list along with your instructions, so you can order quickly online. Here is the model so far. Very complex on the inside for sure. Models are physically tested in real life. We test the instructions for the ease of build, and I'm actually missing a couple of pieces for the hood and roof. So I'm going to have to do a reorder on Bricklink because I was actually missing some stuff. So let me move straight over to the red car.
Later.
All right, more like a 5-week difference. It turns out I was missing parts for the red car as well. So I did a reorder, built them a couple weeks later, got distracted. Don't know if I've had such a long delay from an intro to like the rest of the video, but there you go. They're both done. They look great. And before I jump into the details of these cars, first let me just say, or finish off really, that if you support us by buying instructions, it really helps support the designers we work with, like Fukusaku, who's made a ton of models for us over the years. And we're actually currently working on another project of his in the very near future. So anyways, that's BrickVault.toys. Check out the link. And let's jump into these 2 Beamers, of which there are actually 5 in total. Now, the E36 is pretty much an exclusively 90s car, being released from 1990 to the year 2000. Now, aside from the clear color differences between these 2 cars, I chose the 2 builds here to show you out of the 5 because these show off a lot of different features. The red one is, I think, all stock, and the magenta one is a bit more, how do you say, hella flush and ready to do some sick drifts. Bro. And well, between the 2, you just get a wide variety of body build motifs, which show off how much the mocks can actually vary. It is worth noting, though, that each color variation does in fact have some unique features that belong to only that certain color, like different spoiler builds or slightly different body kits along the bottom edge. So that includes front ends, sides, and I think one of them even has some diffusion in the back. But checking out the red one first, based on my knowledge of the car, I do believe that this is an all stock model, including the small spoiler. Some of them did actually get spoilers from the factory. And at first glance, the E36 could look like it actually does have some special kind of front lip, maybe some body kit stuff going on. But this car from the outset did just have a taller front end and noticeable large rocker panels for the sides. For the Lego model, the grille here is extremely recognizable with lots of subtle shaping that really makes this look like a BMW, even for non-Lego or non-car people. My wife walked in when I was working on one of these models and instantly knew that this was a BMW, and she doesn't know anything about cars. Now, somehow Fukusaku integrated that little bump in the middle of the hood, which I think looks great. But now that I'm talking about the hood, I feel like I need to show you the two functions of the cars. Now, you can't really call them play features. They're a little bit too delicate and finicky for that. It makes more sense, I think, to call these just extra bits, extra things you can do with the models, and that is the hood comes up and the doors can open. In terms of functionality, the hood is delicate and the doors catch somewhat hard on the body. With cars this small, though, that were just made to look cool, it's nice that these features are essentially there at all. They're definitely not play features. They're more like pose features or mini transformation features if you want to pose them with open doors or open hood. So anyways, kind of fun that that exists, but let's move on to the rear of the model. It's got a wonderful rounded shape for the sides, then it hits that flat back. The taillights have a nice slant, and the E36 has a nice sporty looking double muffler in the back as well. I should note that there is an actual easy feature for the build as well. The roof comes off and you can fit 2 figs inside. The steering wheel does adjust a little bit, which is also fun. Plenty of space for the figs, fairly easy to manipulate, but I feel like it is now time to mosey on over to the magenta model, or mostly magenta model. It's a really, really striking look for a car in color alone, but it's also got some unique things going on for it as well that I don't think you would actually expect. Number one, there's a body kit. So the front end is built a little bit different. It goes a little lower here. At the same time, the sides flare way out, and you can see that the slopes in the rear also are an extension to that, and they actually tilt up a little bit to match with the correct angle. Altogether, you can see this car gets much, much lower to the ground, and that is in part due to the second part of its custom modifications, and that's because this car is also a little bit lower because it is somehow stanced. Yes, you heard that correctly. The wheels are mixel connected, giving them a negative camber, and still rolls somehow. Actually, it does roll. If you mess with it like a little bit too much, slide it around or mess with the wheels, it can get a bit stiff and not roll quite as easily. But still, the fact that we got this tiny car to flare the wheels out and have it roll at the same time means it's currently beating some real cars with the same modification. Unique to the magenta version of the E36 here, it has a flat hood, and lastly, for custom stuff in the rear, it has a roof spoiler. They are pretty sweet looking cars. I really like how the designer spent so much time focusing on very specific subtle details that are unique to this particular type of model, and that falls in line just with the same types of details that he always does with his cars. You can see them now all hanging out with these JDM classics and, well, a lot of the initial D cars. It's really fun having all these models together. I didn't realize how colorful everything is when you just put them all in one spot. Also, this isn't in the description, but let's just say that the red E36 is the European 320 horsepower 6-speed manual version and not the one from the US with 240 horsepower as an automatic. Thank you, Doug DeMuro, for making car research much more fun and easy.
Which was pretty good.
All right, remember, if you wanted to build any of these car models, you can always get the instructions at brickvault.toys. If you enjoy our content, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, or share. Let me know what other types of bundles of models or whatever you want to see built in the future. You can always comment below. And great, thanks for sticking around to the end. We'll see you next time at BrickVault.